All right, guys, we need to talk about something that is deeply wrong with ballet culture, why it's vital that we change it, and what you can start doing about it today. So, by now, hopefully, you've seen my choreography project, which, if you haven't, what are you waiting for? It's the last video right before this one. Go check it out. I'm really proud of it. I had 12 wonderful dancers send their videos in, and we created something really beautiful. However, 10 out of those 12 dancers made some kind of disclaimer surrounding their performance. They either apologized for how it looked or told me all of the ways that it wasn't what they wanted it to be, and if it wasn't good enough to be in the performance, they understood. And I didn't even put it together until I was doing one of the accountability calls for the Ballet on the Brain workshop. I was talking to two participants who were in a place where they didn't want to film themselves and send it in because they didn't feel comfortable with where their performance was at. And that's when I realized, wait a minute, everyone's been saying the same thing in one way or another. And as I had received those videos and those messages one by one, it made me sad for the way that they were discounting themselves, but it didn't surprise me. It didn't even really faze me because that's ballet culture. Because that's what we do, right? I mean, we point out our flaws and our mistakes and all the ways that we aren't measuring up. That's just become normal. That's just become expected. We expect everyone else to join in and tell us how they suck and they can't do this and all the ways that they aren't a good dancer. But what is that doing to our dancing? What does that do to us as dancers and as artists? What does that do to the expression that we want to come through in our dancing? And we talked about this actually in the Ballet on the Brain workshop because it's something that I'm really trying to change within myself. Because there's this thought that if we point out what's wrong and all the ways we aren't measuring up, if we get to it before someone else does, at least they know that we didn't think we were some great dancer, that we didn't know everything that was wrong. This is so backwards. This is so defeating. And here's why this really needs to change. To me, it all comes back to, why are you dancing? Why do you love to dance? Is it because you just really want to have that constant striving for perfectionism, never feeling like you're reaching the goal? Is it because you love being self-deprecating and just feeling like you're constantly behind the curve? I really hope not. In fact, I asked that question, why do you dance, recently? And the answers I got back are going to become a whole nother video because they're so inspiring and I think so important right now during this time. You dance because you must. You dance because it's freedom, it's expression, it's joy. And is that freedom and that joy coming through if you are discounting yourself before you even put yourself out there? If you're defeating yourself at every turn and belittling everything you're expressing? I think it really is harming our dancing. And it made me think, if this many people had trouble and I had to work with them to send their videos in, how many more people watched from the sidelines and discounted themselves without ever reaching out, without ever trying at all? And I'll never know if they wanted to be part of it, if they wanted to dance, but they didn't because they decided that they weren't good enough. They decided that they weren't worthy of expressing themselves, of dancing with other people, that they weren't at the level that they needed to be. And who decides that, guys? I mean, who decides what's inspiring and what's not inspiring? I have only received positive feedback so far, and in fact the best feedback, in my opinion, are from people who aren't dancers in my life that have found this inspiring and have made them want to dance. That is the power of dancing. All right, there's a lot more here, but I just wanted to highlight that because I think it's really important that we start talking these things through, that we start challenging that aspect of ballet culture. Yes, we have to be able to critique our dancing. We have to be able to correct ourselves. That's a really important part. But where does that line get crossed from supporting where we want to go and really defeating where we want to go by spiraling into constant criticism? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is this something that you struggle with? Do you feel the drag of it? Talk to me. I will see you guys in my next video.